Well, good afternoon, everyone. We're here to make a very positive announcement for the City of New Bedford, an announcement that will have implications for the safety of all those people who work and play on our harbor and in our harbor. Today it's my pleasure to announce that the Fire Department, under the leadership of Michael Gomes, has added to its arsenal a 41-foot utility boat once used by the United States Coast Guard, which the department received through a federal surplus property program. And I'll tell you a little bit about that in a second. Let me first say something about our harbor. Our harbor has many uses. We are, of course, the #1 fishing port in the United States, and that means more than anything else that we have many vessels on the harbor and many people working on them. We have a large recreational boating presence that is growing year by year, that is headquartered off of right at Pope's Island. We have an active cargo operation here on the State Pier and soon to be down in the South Terminal area. We have ferry service right here to Martha's Vineyard. We have people who are rowing back and forth on Whaling Era style rowboats, as well as on sculls. In short, we have a lot going on the harbor, and that means that there are many people who are at some level of risk all the time. And so we have to, as a city, maintain our vigilance when it comes to safety, and not just vigilance, but also the capacity to respond to hazards. The HDC, under the leadership of Acting Director Ed Washburn, does a great job directing traffic on our harbor, but much of the safety response falls to our fire department under Chief Gomes' leadership. And today, we are adding significant capacity to the fire department's ability to keep us safe. Last year, on this harbor, the fire department responded to 67 incidents. And these incidents range from distress calls to oil spills to fires, to a whole host of events that require immediate and direct and competent attention. And so the boat that you see right behind me, the large 41-foot boat, will enable the Coast Guard, the fire department, to reach more people more quickly at less risk to first responders, and with a greater ability to get people back on shore in a hurry. This all happened. We were able to add this capacity, this boat that would otherwise cost several hundred thousand or gazillions, $600,000. We got it at the right price, a price that none of us would be able to resist, and that's free, for zero. And that's through a federal program that distributes surplus military and other property to locations, to communities like ours that can use the help. Times are tight, no doubt about it. We try to make more with less, we try to do more with less in city government, and so opportunities like these come only so often. And I'd like to thank today, most of all, Chief Gomes for his out-of-the-box thinking, his resourcefulness, and seeking out this opportunity for the city. The city, in getting this boat up to speed, both literally and figuratively, spent a little over $3,000 for an asset that's worth about $600,000. I appreciate the efforts of the fire department to care for the boat, to bring it up to speed. Many firefighters, some of whom are here today, worked off hours on their own time in order to prepare the vessel for today's press event, but also to ready it for action. And it's already been in action around the harbor a few times already, and it's ready to go. Let me also thank David Salino, the Mass Chief Fire Warden, for his efforts in facilitating the transfer of the vessel to the city of New Bedford. And Chief, I think we have a great working partnership, and we really thank you for your efforts and and making this day possible. As Chief Salino appreciates, Chief Gomes is he's a bit of a hoarder. He looks for opportunities like these all the time. See this crane right here? This is something that he obtained again for the grand price of $0 for the benefit of the HDC. He is in the process of obtaining a fire engine at that same low price. He's one of these guys who takes advantage of free opportunities all the time. If you ever have a meal with him, just make sure that you don't leave leftovers behind or leave your plate for too long, because he'll take advantage of that opportunity as well. But in all seriousness, great work, Chief, in thinking out of the box and doing this in the city is a beneficiary of your leadership. And with that, let me call the Chief up so he can give you a few more details about the vote.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Again, I'd like to thank the press for being here, thank the mayor for his kind words, and Chief Salino, their participation in allowing this, us to participate in this effort going forward. Also, our partners in the HDC, we work together almost on a daily basis, and they are partners with us in our responses here on the waterfront. The people from the Department of Conservation and Recreation do us a great service with this program. The state of Massachusetts at one time had a full-time position for someone to screen this federal property for the state of Massachusetts. Unfortunately, during budget cuts, that position was lost. And there's a couple of gentlemen out in Fire District number 10 who actually do this function for the entire state of Massachusetts as a collateral duty. They do it, it's not part of their normal job description, but they do it because they're trying to help everybody else. Unfortunately, they gave me their phone numbers, and I call them at least once a week. I say, hey, I found something in Alabama, or I found something over on the other side of the world somewhere, and they work tirelessly in order to help us get that. So again, our department, our city, is very thankful to the members of the DCR, and especially Fire District 10. Also, Aaron Whidden, our local forester, and Josh Nigro from Cape Cod. They've also been very, very helpful with us going forward. In these tight fiscal times, assets are hard to come by, and we try to participate in every single grant program there is out there. We tried to get a new fireboat last year on the port security, and unfortunately, we were unsuccessful. So if you're not successful in one direction, go in another. So this opportunity arose. I approached the mayor about it and said, hey, we have this opportunity. We can get this boat for X amount of dollars, basically $0. It's going to take us a little bit of effort to get it up to speed, but what do you think? And he said, go for it. And that's all I needed.
That was a tough decision on my part.
Hey, you never know. You got to ask first. So he said, go for it, and here we are. Through our participation in this program with the Federal Reuse Program, we've gotten furniture for our fire stations, the crane, computers that normally we couldn't have afforded. And in these tight fiscal times, it's difficult to get a new fire engine, let alone a new fireboat, when we already have an existing platform here. So that's great, and it's been very helpful. I also want to thank the members of the Marine Unit who have worked tirelessly, especially under the leadership of Captain Bullia. 16 months ago, we really didn't have a Marine Unit. And through his efforts and the efforts of his dedicated team, we now have capabilities that the fire department never had before. And being a Marine-based community, those are capabilities that we need to have. The relationship between the fire department and the harbor in the past was, well, if we look to the right when we're going south, we won't see it. If we looked to the left when we were going north, we wouldn't see it. We really didn't participate. Now we've jumped in the water figuratively with both feet, and whether it be oil spill, vessels sinking, you name it, we're out there every single day. And the members of the community should rest assured that if within 15 minutes we can be underway 365 days a year, 12 months of the year, every single day, within 15 minutes we can get a boat underway. The Port of New Bedford, as far as the Coast Guard's concerned, we're about 30 to 40 minutes away from the closest Coast Guard assets at any moment in time. So we cover this side of the bay, and we are, always ready. And this asset gives us the ability to go out into Buzzards Bay. Our previous firefighting vessel of 31-foot Robert Gonzalez is a great firefighting vessel for in the harbor, but doesn't have enough freeboard to go out in rough weather. This 41-footer allows us to go out in 8-foot seas, 30-mile-an-hour winds, and then some. And through the training that's going on a daily basis, we're going to have that capability going forward. You know, the City of New Bedford, the fire department, we've entered into joint relationships with many other agencies in the region, whether it be the state hazmat teams, DCR, and we're willing to provide services to those communities. We provide the fire boat services for Haven side of the port, and so again, it's a great partnership going forward. And I really look forward to having a long service with this vessel behind us. It gives us a platform that we never had before. We named the vessel after Edward C. Spooner. He is a firefighter who died in the line of duty in 1890. He's considered the first firefighter to die in the line of duty in the modern era when we professionalized the department. And so we felt it was fitting to name this vessel after him based upon he made the ultimate sacrifice for the citizens of this city. At this time, I would like to ask Chief Salino to come up and say a few words.
Thank you, Chief, and thanks, Mayor, for the kind words about our agency. On behalf of Governor Patrick and the Secretary of Environmental Affairs, Rick Sullivan, and certainly our Commissioner, Ed Lambert, former Mayor of Fall River, who apologizes he couldn't make it here today, we'd like to congratulate you on a great project. This is the spirit of what that program is all about. Some folks ask, what is the Forest Fire Bureau of DCR getting involved in boats? I often ask myself that question. I'm from the Berkshires, so I'm the last person that you want to ask about boats. However, it's our relationship with the U.S. Forest Service that gives us this ability. This program started back in the early 70s, and the objective was to get fire equipment, surplus equipment, out to rural America, rural towns across the countryside for primarily forest fire defense, but that program has grown. And 5 years ago, if you told me that I would be involved in putting boats out across the landscape, I would have said, you're crazy. But it's happening. And it's not just boats. It's actually, like we said, office equipment, but fire engines, fire apparatus as well. And it's a new era out there in terms of what's becoming available. But I think what the mayor said about thinking outside the box and what the chief mentions about cooperation amongst different agencies, that speaks highly of where we're at today in emergency services. It's all about interagency cooperation. We can't all do it ourselves. The city of New Bedford, as big as it may be, cannot handle management of emergency services in the harbor all by itself. Just the fact of trying to get a $600,000 piece of equipment in here is undaunting. And so when we see these opportunities at hand, we grab them as quickly as we can. A little bit about the program. Probably in the last 4 to 5 years, we probably average anywhere from $3 to $4 million, $5 million in equipment that we bring in from the Federal Excess Property Program, and we distribute equipment across the state. I mentioned fire apparatus. We've done probably 12 boats, but in addition to the boats, we've done a number of different pieces of fire apparatus, including a ladder truck that went to a small hill town out in western Massachusetts, 10-town mutual aid system, where the nearest ladder truck was probably 35 minutes away. And that was huge for them, and they've used it a number of times. As you can see here, that this boat has already been called into service. So we'd like to think that, and we hope that we continue making a huge positive impact on these cities and towns, and we'll continue doing it. We think it's a real valuable service. And in terms of cooperation with the city of New Bedford and the fire department, I look forward to that long relationship. You know, whether it's in water rescue, whether it's in wildland firefighting, and I know New Bedford's shown up to some wildland fires this spring to help us out, so we appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Chief.
Mr. Mayor, one more point I'd like to make.
Yeah, go ahead.
One group that I forgot to actually thank for their efforts, which were huge for us, is that Coast Guard Sector Southeast out of Woods Hole, which is the Coast Guard sector that protects Buzzards Bay. They have a maintenance facility for these 41-footers over there. They were based out of Woods Hole. They opened up their facility for us. They hauled the boat out. They put it in a shed for us so that we could work on it out of the weather. They gave us the technical expertise necessary to do the ongoing maintenance that was necessary. They have years and years of experience working on these vessels, and they gave us that know-how and opened all their facilities to us. So I really want to reach out and say thank you to Captain Vern Gifford from Coast Guard Sector Southeast and all the members of the engineering unit out there at Woods Hole. They were a godsend. Thank you.
Thank you to both chiefs. Does anybody have any questions?
Chief, what are some of the specifications, gallons per minute, how much it can load?
On the firefighting side, this vessel doesn't have the same firefighting capability as our main firefighting vessel. It has about 300 to 350 gallons per minute capability as far as that's concerned. Its strongest capability for us is for a search and rescue platform, and that its ability to go out in rough weather and to ensure that the crew goes out but also can come back. That's the key, the seaworthiness of these vessels. These were the backbone of the U.S. Coast Guard's coastal search and rescue fleet. There were 220 of them in service with the U.S. Coast Guard. They served since about 1972, and again, the Coast Guard got great use out of them, and they're being phased out of the fleet as we speak.
Are the boats going to be used in conjunction with each other, or one at a time?
We have enough personnel to run both at the same time, depending upon the nature of the threat. If the issue's out in the bay, for the most part, it would be the 41 dealing with it. If it's in the harbor, it would be the 31 in order to deal with it on those circumstances. But if the situation was large enough, we would use both vessels.
Kurt, did you have anything?
What are you gonna do next week? Last week you got the contribution for shot spotter. Today you got a utility boat.
I'm open for business.
Got a fire engine coming next week.
Maybe more free stuff next week. Let's hope so. It's the right price. All right. Thank you very much, everyone.
You want to go for a ride, or you got time?
As a football player, I was used to getting knocked down, but I always bounced back. Then an infected mosquito bit me, and I almost died. Mosquitoes can carry serious viruses like EEE and West Nile virus. So protect yourself and the people you care about. Use mosquito repellent with DEET. Limit being out from dusk to dawn. Wear more protective clothing. Keep your screens in good shape, and get rid of standing water around your house. These simple steps can help prevent mosquito bites and keep you healthy this summer.